Ladies and gents, we are looking at the exotic LMG Xenophage. It is the first of its kind, and I know we say that like a lot, but there's been a lot of firsts, right? The first heavy bow, the first 120 round per minute LMG, both are equally crappy, and I'm not sure who's winning first place at being the worst damn exotic right now. But in Xenophage's case, it's very possible that this weapon is just bugged, but we're gonna review it regardless. So first up, guys, for those that are wanting to get this exotic, down below in the description is a quest guide. I know Houndish has already got a guide together. I think he was the first one to throw one together. It is an extensive quest, so be prepared to set aside some time. I'm actually on like the third step or the fourth step on my own account, but shout out to Les for letting us get on his account here to play with this LMG. Now, this weapon comes with the exotic perk Pyrotoxin Rounds. It fires high power explosive ammunition. Almost has like a solar look to it, and it is a solar weapon, but you can see like a little bit of a flame, a flutter of a fire. You know what I mean? When it hits something, it's like it almost wants to proc sunspots for you, but then Bungie's like, not really. It also comes with full bore for that plus 15 in range, high caliber rounds for that plus 5 in range, rangefinder for that increase there in zoom magnification, as well as effective range, and a stock sight at the end there for stability and handling. Now, there's a lot here that's being loaded out in range. It's almost max, and being a 120 round per minute LMG, that impact is maxed at 100. Against player combatants, this thing does 150 damage per body shot, and per crit, it does the exact same amount of damage. Hence why we think this thing may be bugged. Now, some people are saying this is the way it's supposed to be. This LMG would be too strong if it could hit crits. And granted, I mean, the damage being 150 per body, I mean, it's a guaranteed 2-shot from any range, and I mean any range. Les was on my account, and we actually got spread out on Eternity, and I was amazed that this weapon never received damage fall off. We tried to spread things out as far as we could. Somewhere around 117 meters was the furthest I could get away from him, and even then, I was still hitting full damage. It's actually pretty insane, which makes me wonder how powerful this LMG could be if it was hitting crits. Can you imagine if it was doing like 201 per crit inside of PvP, and you could hit that from 120 meters away? Good God, that would be nasty. Now, even though the weapon does require 2 shots to kill inside of Crucible or inside of Gambit, it still has a pretty decent TTK value at a whopping 0.5 seconds. Now, that actually ties with things like Bane of Sorrow, Fixed Odds, and it actually has a better TTK value of that of Thunderlord. On top of that, it's like the ultimate peak weapon. The downside is the amount of ammo that you get though in Crucible. Inside of 6v6, you only get 3 rounds. 3 rounds. That is only a guaranteed kill and a half, which pretty much ranks it as the worst heavy weapon inside of PvP, which is why you see me using it so much inside of Gambit. Pretty much the only place I could get gameplay of it killing Guardians, and that was really purely because I had armament mods on Les's account here. Now, even though this weapon has a TTK value similar to most of our other LMGs, which in Bungie's eye would make it balanced, the place that this weapon is really hurting at the most is in PvE. Now, on Greg, it actually does some pretty good damage. I mean, it's not bad at all, especially for just like body shot damage, hitting for a whopping 10,215 per shot. But holding only 13 rounds to a magazine, despite it being a 120 round per minute machine gun, I felt like I was constantly reloading. And even though LMGs are definitely not the best weapons when it comes to DPS, I was expecting Xenophage here to be that weapon. Normally there's like breakout guns, right? In any archetype. And I was really hoping that Xenophage was gonna be that. To me, even though it's doing 10,000 damage per shot here to Greg, there's so many power weapons that can do better than this. Hell, a single shot of Honed Edge from Izanagi's does upwards of almost 90,000 damage per shot, and that's a special weapon. And I know Izanagi's is a special case, but Xenophage, with it not doing crit damage, is clearly at a disadvantage. Now, there is some good things about it. It has like the AoE effect whenever you're hitting targets, so it can actually kill multiple targets in one shot. It's got like a knockback effect, which stuns Greg pretty nicely, and I'm sure that can do the same thing to other targets. But like I said, guys, not being able to do crit damage, even though some people are already saying that this is balanced, to me, I understand it for PvP, even though I think the ammo economy for it could be better. But for PvE, this weapon will never be like an ad clear weapon. There's so many weapons that can do what it does way better. When we compare it to something like Thunderlord, Thunderlord has way more ammo. It's got the ease of use and an AoE damage effect that hits multiple ads, better than that of even Xenophage. So I'm real interested to see what Bungie's thoughts are on this. I'm sure we're gonna hear something within the next day or so. I can't imagine this weapon not being able to hit crits. At least in PvE. So guys, that is our review here of Xenophage. Hands down, at least against Guardians, it's pretty nasty. Like at 100+ meters, the weapon is still very sticky. The ammo economy overall though, inside of Crucible is pretty terrible, which is why you're probably not gonna see many people using it. And inside of PvE, I'm holding out for this weapon to be a monster. And if it can actually hit crit damage values, it will be. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.